All right, welcome back. Very pleased to have Councilman Dirk Guidry with us. He is, of course, District 8 here in Terrebonne Parish. And just to set the scene for you, a lot of people have been concerned with their utility bills, especially after the storm. Some people not even hooked up to the electricity are getting bills, other people getting higher bills. And this certainly caught the eye of Councilman Dirk Guidry. Before I come back to Councilman Dirk Guidry, let's run in a little of the council meeting where he spoke to representatives of energy. Let's roll that in.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. Question, how many energy workers do they have assigned to Terrebonne Parish on a normal day? For all of Terrebonne Parish on a normal day? I'm not talking right now, I'm talking before pre-hurricane. 12? Yeah. No, Terrebonne Parish. There's 12 before the storm. You know, for such a big area, that does seem like a lot of workers. You know, because before the hurricane, we had a lot of damage on electric poles. In the district I represent, we probably had 150 to 200 telephone poles that you guys didn't maintain, because there were red X's on all these poles that were rotten, ready to fall down, and all y'all had a little company before the storm that were changing all the poles. They were changing all the poles down in Chauvin, and they were changing 1.5 poles a day. So it would have took them, the guys told me it would have took them over a year to change the rotten poles that you guys failed to maintain in a deplorable condition, because a lot of them are rotten. And a lot of this outages that we have is energy's fault, you know? And now, as a business, you're gonna come back and you're gonna make my people and me pay $11 a month more, I believe, for 15 years. How can a company, a privately owned, not a privately owned, but a company come back and have damage and expect the consumers to pay for it? If my restaurant that I own, if it burns down, can I charge my customers more money because I had to fix my restaurant? It's not right, you know? You got a telephone pole that's 40 years old down there, and somebody smacks it in with that car, and they got to change that pole. You guys can't charge them for a brand new pole. Why not you charge them for a 50-year-old pole? You know, like Mr. Trosclair was saying about street lights. Let me tell you, from Prospect Boulevard to Toussaint Foray Bridge, which is 16 miles. I went the other night and I counted street lights. You know how many street lights I got? 3 street lights per mile. 3 street lights per mile. I own a restaurant. We usually close at 9 o'clock. We close it at 7 o'clock. You know why? Because you guys failed to put lights up. When I get out of my restaurant, when I go to my door, I gotta put my cell phone on with a flashlight to see the keyhole. That's how dark it is down these bayous.
Certainly, Dirk, I've been knowing you for a long time.
You sure have, Martin.
It was under your skin.
Yes,
No
it's
doubt.
been under my skin for a while. You know.
What spurred it? Obviously, you know your district pretty well. What were you seeing? What were you hearing? And give us some of your results.
You know, Martin, it's just a disgrace that energy let their equipment rot out in the infrastructure that they have. I mean, you've seen these linemen were going before these storms, and they were knocking poles and they were rotten, you know, and energy throughout the whole United States. I mean, I got an article right here from the New York Times that says how bad of a company energy is. You know, and you know, you say $11 a month, you know, it's not a lot, but you know, per household, it comes out to $132 a year and $1,980 over 15 years. Energy has got, you know, they bring in over $10 billion a year. And what they've been doing is, I believe they've been giving that money to their stockholders and just letting the equipment go to hell, you know. I mean, you know, in that 15 years, I figured it out. It would come, they're gonna earn $1,980 million that they're gonna get from the people for equipment that they have not been maintaining. And it's not just now, you know what I mean? It's been a long time. In this article right here, all these poles that they have are not rated for over a Class 2, Category 2 hurricane, you know. There's been hundreds and hundreds. I mean, that, you know, if you get here and you read this article, there's people from all over that's been, you know, the equipment should be to withstand up to 150 miles an hour winds, but they only rated right here to up to 110 miles per hour. So they should, in this article it goes why they should have changed to steel poles, fiberglass poles, done it a different kind of way, Martin. I'm hearing about people's getting electric bills, you know, that their electric hasn't been hooked up for a couple of months. It's just crazy the way it's going, you know, and if you look at it, all these big old transmission lines that went over for the city of New Orleans, it's all lack of maintenance on their equipment, and their stockholders are making money while we the people suffer, you know, and it's not right, Martin, for a big company to come in and do that. I wish we had an alternative besides energy.
We've been filming quite a bit, seen you quite a bit too.
Yes, sir.
Working and doing different things. And you're normally too busy to do an interview. That's how busy you've been. So I appreciate that. We talk about this. Also, there's a lot of reports, and I want you to, if you found this out, I want you to verify that people are being billed and they're not even connected right now.
For sure,
to
Martin.
some of the utilities.
Yeah, I'm hearing it from a lot of people, you know, that they're getting billed for a couple of months of electric bills, and they don't even have a meter, you know, and it's crazy. I mean, how can, and I believe a while back they went in and put smart meters. Energy went in and changed all the meters to smart meters. So why are they getting these readings of people owe electric bills when there's not even a meter in the house? You know, it's just crazy to understand and comprehend what's going on with energy.
And I believe in being fair. Obviously, there might be a reason. Maybe they had a malfunction. Maybe they didn't. Has anyone talked to Energy? Will they communicate with y'all? What is their reasoning behind all the things that you're talking about?
No answers, Martin. No answers. I believe somewhere in here that it said the company declined to provide the age and damage of destroyed transmission structures and the age range for damaged distribution poles and equipment. They suffered widespread destruction and were not built to withstand winds to 130 to 150 miles an hour. So, I mean, we all know down here, and I'm pretty sure they should know, that 130 mile an hour winds, it seems like that's a standard hurricane for nowadays. I mean, if you believe in climate change and what's going on in the world, they need to come and build this infrastructure differently. In these paperwork, it shows where they should be putting lines underground to stop all this from happening, you know, and I'd agree with them, you know, but I mean, it might be a little bit difficult because of the soils that we have, but with the technology we have today, it should be possible to do that, Martin.
Andrew was over 130 miles per hour. Gustav was over 130 miles per hour. Katrina, over 130. Ida, well over 130. So if their standards have not been reset, maybe it's time that all utility companies look at everything, and that we have a general. There were more poles, I think, down for Hurricane Ida than any other hurricane ever. Yeah,
for sure. Ida destroyed or damaged 31,000 telephone poles. You know, to carry low voltage and distribution lines to neighborhoods, twice as many as Hurricane Katrina and the last hurricane that we had. I mean, it's just nuts, Martin. I just can't understand why they can't even give us answers. They won't even give the New York Times any answers when they're questioned. So it's just hard to say, you know. I can't understand it. The people that I represent can't understand it. A guy came in, an electrician came in this morning, and he wanted to know what I could do to help him, because there was some electrical work that he was doing that we got a green tag put on it it was cleared from the parish for the energy to come and hook up that meter. It's been 6 weeks. I know personally at my home, I had a green tag on mine. It took me 4 weeks to get electricity. So, I mean, that's unacceptable. That's why I asked him at the beginning of this, how many linemen that you have in Terrebonne Parish, and it was 12. Another big problem we're having right now is street lights. You know, and I went down and I counted all these street lights. As you heard, 16 miles, 3 lights per street lights. Now, in some areas, there might be 3 or 4 of them, pole to pole to pole. And you go down, it's dark, you know. And like my business, we shutting down because I can't let my workers come out of there when the pitch dark, you know. It just, Martin, I just can't understand what's going on with energy, you know.
And of course, you've also talked to constituents in this area. Are you personally running into a lot of constituents that are saying, Dirk, I received a bill and I don't even have a meter?
Oh, for sure, Martin. It happens every day, you know. I mean, people come to me every day to see what I can do. And since it's a company, there's not a whole lot that me as a councilman that I could do for them. You know, I could give them phone numbers for them to call. But as far as the councilman, there's a lot of things that our hands are tied on with energy. I have a hard time. I got a street light, a big light on my place that I pay for that my wife spent 3 separate occasions, about an hour and a half each time, trying to get them to come hook up this light. And today, there's still no light, you know, and this is what, we're going on 100 days after a storm.
And I know we've talked a lot about the speed. You know, I really feel like the smaller companies or the local municipalities like Terrebonne Parish did a much better job than the bigger companies, and you would think the bigger companies had a lot more resources.
Right. Yeah. I mean, also Sleeker. I mean, Sleeker did a great job.
Yeah,
You don't hear any
Sleeker did
complaints
too.
about
Yeah.
Sleeker. You don't hear nothing about the city. I mean, it took them a couple of weeks before they had it all together. But energy's yet to come in and do what they're supposed to do. And there's not an energy truck down these byes to be seen, Martin. It's I don't know. It's just we're in a desperate
What's
situation.
the next step with energy? Are you going to personally keep trying to reach them?
Oh, yes, I will. Yes. I have a phone call today. I didn't return it yet from the gentleman that I spoke to at the council meeting. So I'm going to give him a call back as soon as I get out of here to find out what he's got to tell me, Martin. But if you read what the New York Times and everybody else have to say about him, it's not a good thing, Martin.
We believe in fairness. If you're with energy and you want to come here and buy your time, and we got 4 seats, bring a panel, tell us what's happening, we'll listen. But the bottom line, and I think what Dirk wants and what everybody wants, let's get it straight. Let's just make it right, let's make it transparent, and let's get some communication going and find out exactly what's happening. I want to turn to Aptum. I know you've been trying, we as a station have been trying and successful in a lot of cases to get people trailers, but this trailer fiasco is what I call it. It's got the attention of many people. And if we're ever doing a seminar on how to do efficient trailer dissemination from the feds and from the state, this is not a good example.
No, Martin. Aptum said they've done, I mean, they might have done exactly what they're doing right now, but they've been in the disaster business for, I think it was 40 years that they claim to be in the disaster area business, you know. I mean, we got a report this morning, 688 trailers are delivered, 501 occupied. You know, that doesn't make it. It's far from being right. I mean, you still got people living in camps. You still got people living in the house, underneath their houses made with the blue tarps. They're living in tents. It's not right, Martin. You know, right after this hurricane, and I said that at the council meeting the other night, you know, when I went down the bayou the next morning, and I seen all the houses destroyed, I said, you know, Houston, we have a problem. We have a humanitarian problem here. We need to get housing for a lot of these people, and it's just not happening. And 6, 7 weeks later, we probably finally got our first FEMA camper. They should have known this was coming before it even ever happened. FEMA, I mean, 121 occupied, 100 days after. When are the people going to have any kind of life back together? And I told that to one of the federal councilmen. I said, FEMA won't be doing anything till after the beginning of the year, because 21 campers occupied is not doing that job.
How many unoccupied were delivered that you said?
Unoccupied from FEMA is 120.
That bothers me more than the low amount of ones that were delivered.
For sure, Martin.
Why are you going to deliver a trailer that they can't occupy?
I have no idea. I mean, I got a lady from lives across the street from me. She called me this morning. She's hollering because they're telling her they can't bring a FEMA trailer to her because she doesn't have a temporary pole. But in the deal, FEMA and Aptum are supposed to supply these, you know. And I told her to call Chris Pulaski's office, and They gave her another number to call somebody else, and you just keep getting the runaround. I mean, the parish has done an outstanding job. Chris Pulaski and his staff, Matt Ricka, have done a great job trying to provide homes for these people.
And also Matt Atita.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Matatita, they got campus that they just gave to people, you know.
Yeah.
I think they collected $1.5 million in a couple of days, and they brought campus out. And when they brought their camp out, they just gave them the keys, you know. Like they got these campus that's in the yards. You know, if you live in, and they won't give you the key until it's completely hooked up. If you living in a tent, give me the keys and let me at least have a dry place and a warm place to sleep, you know. Martin, I don't know, I've never seen anything like this.
And I know Bobby Thompson built some trailers. They put them in the park, put them right by the Legion Park there, through the parish and garden. Those work beautifully.
Yeah.
We probably would have done a much better job if they'd have just given us the money and let us build our own.
Right, Martin, and you're going to see, you know, you're talking about these Optum trailers or these FEMA trailers. By the time the smoke clears, each one of these trailers is going to cost the taxpayers $100,000. From buying them, breaking them in, delivering them, picking them up, bringing them back, and letting them rot in the field, it's going to cost the taxpayers $100,000 per. Give these people $100,000 and let them put it back in their homes, you know, and just give them these trailers, bring them in. If you can't hook them up, give the people the keys. These people down these bayous, they know how to hook up sewage. They know how to hook up a water line. You know, they might have a little problem with the electric because we got to bring in a temporary pole, but give these people, give them a fighting chance. And Martin, all these people from down the bayou, that's all they're asking for is a fighting chance. They're not asking for the world from the government because they know they're not going to get it. You know, we got people crossing the border in Mexico that they're talking about giving $450,000 to a kid, you know, and we got the people from Afghanistan. That's what teased me off the most, especially about these FEMA campers from the federal government. When they started evacuating Afghanistan, they built a camp for 5,000 people almost overnight, but they can't come in. It took them 6-7 weeks before we could get a tent for these people, tax-paying people, hard-working people. It took them so long to respond. I have no idea why it took them so long to respond, and that's what aggravates me the most when I have people crying. They're coming up to me and they're crying at my restaurant because they got no place to live. They have no life. I mean, it looks like it's at the end of their lives, you know. And Martin, we got the holiday season coming up. And I just hope and pray every day that FEMA and Optum can at least try to help these people get back into some kind of normalcy. It'll never be normalcy because there's nothing normal about living in a camper.
But I've always known you, Dirk, to be a fair person. So FEMA, Optum, Energy, anybody that's slacking, just communicate through y'all in the council and let's just get the progress going. It don't matter how much we screwed up in the past. Let's move forward positive.
Right, and that was a big problem, Martin. They never, ever gave us any kind of information. So when our people were coming to us and asking us about these FEMA trailers or about these Optum trailers, I had no answers for them. They come to me and say, when I'm going to get my camp, I have no idea because it's out of our hands. It's a state project. It's a federal project. They're not giving us any kind of information. We're just starting to get a little bit of information from that they're giving to Chris Pulaski and all, and he's feeding it down to us. But a lot of when it first came up, we came in and we bypassed the deal for flood elevation, you know, for the base flood elevation for these campers, and we passed it. They knew about it, but
what we're going to do, unfortunately, Dirk, we got the mandatory count there. But look, keep me posted, keep us up to date, and we'll keep you up to date there at home. Thank you, Dirk.
Martin, thank you for keeping the people posted.
Thank you. Yeah, we will run.